Good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Cat Space. I have now got short hair. Brand new me. Welcome to tonight's episode with me, as always, my handsome
And
buckets.
we also have a green screen as
And we
well.
also have a green screen behind us and our best friend and family member, Leon. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
So I better put my phone on silent because this little elf is naughty.
Has a tendency to yoink Phil's phone and do all sorts of chaos.
So I've
I
had to
turn
put it
my
in
phone on
another
too.
room so it doesn't get yoinked.
So tonight's episode is homegrown. What we are talking about is Senator Lidia Thorpe. Leon, I have sent you the questions so you can keep up with us and make sure you know what to answer.
I'll
And
try. I'll try to keep up with you guys.
I'll start the questions with buckets.
Are you going to read them or should I?
You read the first one.
I have to do everything in this.
No, I'm giving you privilege.
Oh, is this parliamentary privilege, is it? Is this what you call parliament? I don't.
No, parliamentary privilege is what you do when you decide to throw dirt on people.
Yes. And that's the only reason why politics is interesting.
So read on.
Okay. Is Lydia Thorpe secretly racist whilst accusing others of being racist?
Ooh.
It's a hairy.
Absolutely yes.
It's one of those hair. It's one of those hairy questions. Pardon the hairy pun there. I'm doing this for November, but um, she just the way that she says things and the way that she does things under the guise of accusing people of being racist is racial undertones in itself. So I don't know what is going on in Lydia Thorpe's head at the moment, but whatever it is, it's not good. She's running around calling everybody racist except for the one person that's playing the racist card, and that's unfortunately Lydia Thorpe. She is the one, unfortunately, that is being racist at this point in time.
One of the things I hate about Lydia Thorpe is that she uh, she tells anyone that's basically not Aboriginal and names them as quote unquote the colonizers. Now, Australia is a multicultural country, and it's not just colonizers versus Indigenous as Australians. A lot of people have come to Australia to call Australia their own. They have contributed their own culture and also allowed Australian culture to be part of their own culture, assimilated it, I guess you could call that. So to define someone as a quote unquote colonizer is in fact racist. It really is. Because guess what? No one in Australia is a colonizer anymore. All the colonizers are dead.
And it's an archaic term from the 1700s.
Yeah, exactly. In my opinion, it is a racist term, but it's racist towards white people, effectively. Um, so yes, I think that Lydia Thorpe is being racist, but no one's suing her from it because everyone's afraid of suing her or because she'll use the race card, effectively.
Now let's take this back. Let's go back a little bit. Not previous, this was recent when the king stopped his cancer treatment to come here with his wife to tour Australia and Samoa. And he was in Parliament. I think all Parliament, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And there were dignitaries and there were members of Parliament and there were other people there. And Sam Mostyn, the Governor General, Anthony Albanese, so on, Penny Wong, and so on, so on. And she walks in and she had like I wouldn't call it a subpoena, but more like a letter for the king. And she's going, he's not my king, he's not our king, he's not sovereign, we are the sovereignty, we are the king. But thing is, what I want to say to Miss Thorpe is, Senator Thorpe, your privileges stem from parliamentary privileges. Two, from everything from your hair color to your haircuts and dyes, to your nails, to your eyebrows, to your clothes, your shoes, your mobile phone, your internet, your handbags, your jet planes, your cars, your shopping. Your money that you're getting is coming from the Crown purse, technically the Commonwealth purse. So therefore, if you don't want to be a part of any of this, which you are racist, please stand back, retire, move on because you're behaving like a child. I mean, how long is she going to appear on television from everything from Australian news to BBC to New Zealand news to American news? Like,
She was
it's
just on Sky News, just Sky UK recently,
yeah,
justifying why she was referring the king as a colonizer and all that sort of stuff. I got news for Miss Thorpe. King Charles was not alive when they started using the word colonizer.
exactly, exactly.
I'd also like to remind everyone that Thorpe isn't actually an Aboriginal name, and
It's a
that
Scottish,
Miss Thorpe has Scottish blood in her. So
Scottish
her,
Irish,
so her,
British, Scottish Irish, British.
so basically her descendants probably helped with the genocide when they first came to this country. So I think that's a bit of a kind of below the belt, but it has a little bit of truth to it.
Now,
Think about it.
if I'm not mistaken, her father's Scottish. She's also got Irish and English. Her mother's half Aboriginal, half something else. So technically, oh wow, my hair just went red. So technically, she's not full Aboriginal. But if if she's not happy screaming all the stuff to the Parliament, then I'm sorry, you shouldn't go to the nail salon every 2 weeks. You shouldn't go get your hair done every month. You shouldn't go buying a new mobile phone every year or buying a handbag or shoes. You shouldn't be driving a Tesla every week. You're being paid by the Commonwealth to do your job to serve your country and your people, and this is not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
And forgive me for saying this out of turn, but I feel like she's now embarrassed us in the worst way possible and made us in Australia look silly, absolutely silly. And I don't see why our Prime Minister just doesn't go to our Governor General and tell her, look, she's mentally unstable, she's unhinged, she needs help. We need to remove her of Parliament. She's not just to be banned, but she needs to be removed from his seat, period. For good. This behavior cannot continue like a rebellious 5-year-old child. Am I wrong? Correct me
Well,
if I'm wrong.
No, I
I
think
think
you're right.
I think well the thing is unfortunately, and I'm not a fan of Lydia Thorpe. I'm going to put that right out there. But if Albanese could just click his fingers, or the Governor General could just click her fingers and just go, right, you're out of here, right? Because you're unhinged. Okay. Well, then what's to say that we could just do this to anyone we don't like, or they could do it to anyone they don't like.
Mm.
So I don't, like I said, I don't like her, and that's why she's been asked to resign as opposed to being removed, because resigning has more dignity. But they don't want to just fire her because then that would be, to be honest, should become a martyr for the cause, and things would just be worse. To be
She should not have been. She unfortunately Lydia Thorpe, when she you swear in when you when you get elected to the either the House of Representatives or the Senate, she technically should not even be in there right now, because when she swore her oath of allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II, she said, I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the colonizing Her Majesty Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia, her heirs and successors according to law. That is not the oath. If the
No.
oath, she should not have put in that. Technically, she should not even be in there right now because she didn't do it properly. You should only get one chance to do this correctly. And if you don't, you're out the door. She's been there. Unfortunately, Lydia Thorpe has been there since August 2022 during her recent swearing in ceremony.
I agree with you. I
It's
agree with
offensive as all. That is, to be honest, if we're going to play the racial card and the offensive card, that is offensive to me.
I hear you loud and clear.
Next question.
The only thing I got left to say is that now the whole world is talking about us. the whole world is practically going, who's this insane person? I don't want to even come to Australia to visit because they've got like insane people like her who are unhinged. I mean, as you said, if she doesn't say it right the first time, be removed. Because when I first saw that, I thought, well, that could be considered treason or treasonous to, you know, to King Charles, his heirs and successors, even to the Queen. I feel like that was disrespectful, childish, pathetic, and very treasonous. All right, next question. Let's have a look. Question 2. Does Pauline Hanson have a chance of winning her defamation case against Senator Thorpe?
Yes, I actually believe that she does. And I tell you why. So, Lidia Thorpe accused Pauline Hanson of being a racist convict. Now, by law,
A convicted racist.
yeah, well, by law, the word conviction comes from the word convict. And in order to be a convict, you would have needed to spend time in prison. You can all pay attention. Yeah. Anyway, so Pauline Hanson did spend 11 weeks in prison, but it wasn't for racism. She spent 11 weeks in prison for electoral fraud, for which it was overturned by 3 judges in Queensland. Okay. And the reason why it was overturned was they were worried that Pauline Hanson would have been seen as a political prisoner, which technically she was. Now, the reasons why she was probably convicted were probably racist based, but they got her on electoral fraud. Anyway, she got out and it was the case was dismissed. So she wasn't actually a convict or convicted for racism. So even though Senator Faruqi sued Senator Pauline Hanson for racism and won, the only thing she had to really do was pay Senator Faruqi for legal fees and other misdemeanors and stuff like that. But she never actually went to prison for it. So technically, her lawyers are arguing that she's not a convict or she hasn't been convicted for racism. She just had to pay someone for racism or race or being abusively racist. But that's not the same as being a convict for racism, because it's all fought in the legal court, the local court, I should say. So based off that small technicality, I think she would actually win her defamation case.
Well, the only way this doesn't happen is Channel 9's Today Show will have to apologize. They'll have to, because both Lidia Thorpe and Channel 9's Today Show, they've both been sent legal documents, legal notices that they know they know the accusation is false, and they both should withdraw it immediately. So I believe there is a deadline on these. Well, as far as Channel 9 goes, they are to go on the air at whatever time that they did the interview with Senator Lidia Thorpe and withdraw the comments. And so that takes Channel 9 out of possible defamation proceedings, and Lidia Thorpe has probably got the same amount of time to withdraw as well. But right now, I haven't seen any movement from both. I would expect Channel 9 to make a move tomorrow morning. I'd expect Carl Stefanovic, what is his name? Carl Stefanovic, to be the one to make that apology straight up on Channel 9 at the time tomorrow. I don't expect Lidia Thorpe to. We'll end up with a defamation case, Pauline Hanson against Lidia Thorpe, which the situation was never really with Lidia Thorpe in the first place. Lidia Thorpe decided to stick her nose in it, and now she's put her foot in it. So the she would have a chance of winning the defamation case. And by the way, the original case against Maureen Faruqi, Pauline Hanson has decided to challenge it under legal grounds. So there's a challenge there, and I believe there's 14. I think it was up to 14 points, which Pauline Hanson has pointed out regarding the challenge to this case against Maureen Faruqi.
I've
So yeah,
I've met Dr. Senator Maureen Faruqi. I've met her.
yeah.
I might remember.
You gave her a nice big hug.
She was dressed up, looks absolutely gorgeous, smelled delightful. She had the brightest smile and the greatest personality I've ever seen. And we were sitting with our friend from the Greens, who shall remain nameless. And she was walking.
Don't remain nameless.
Well, Phil Bradley, he's counsel for Greens in Parramatta. We were sitting with him having coffee, and in Parramatta, and she was walking by with her family, and I was totally starstruck. I'm like, "Is that Dr. Faruqi? Is that Maureen Faruqi, Senator Faruqi?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I went, "Senator Faruqi," and she came in, and I'm like, gave me this almighty hug, and I'm like, "Wow, so happy to meet you." Like, it was the reason what Senator Hanson had said to her that made me angry because I can relate to Senator Faruqi because when I first came to New Zealand, kids were so cruel to me. When I was at school, as they threw a piece of paper at my head, which was written, "Go back to where you came from, you blah, blah, blah." And I could resonate with that. And I just gave her this big hug. And I said to just ignore Senator Hanson. She has no idea what she's talking about. And I just thanked her for the hug. And I just think Senator Faruqi is the nicest person ever.
Like
No,
I
the
also
question was about the chance of winning a defamation case. I mean, it's not your own personal opinion. You've met her and she's a nice person, but the question was, does Pauline Hanson have a chance of winning a defamation case should it
Pauline
arise?
Hanson, by technicality, she does have a chance because she was never convicted for racism. Now you could argue, is Pauline Hanson a racist person? Quite possibly, right? Was she convicted for racism? No.
For this case, I'd say, yeah, you're both right. I think Buckets is right as well. Senator Hanson has a very powerful, strong chance of winning this case against Senator Thorpe. I think Senator Thorpe's um, false accusations will put her in a really, really, really bad light in Australia and around the world. And I think once Senator Hanson wins it, Senator Thorpe will go a bit more crazy and unhinged, and then I think she'll quiet down after a while. I don't think we'll hear any more of her because it's like the more she gets airtime, the more people are getting sick of her.
I'm amazed that she chose politics when really she should be a shock jock. Like I
And
feel
Kyle
like
Sanderlands would have nothing on Lidia Thorpe.
I know, like I just kind of feel that she's kind of in the wrong career. I mean, she says that she wants to become a politician, but deep down inside, she's really a shock jock. And I reckon if she quits politics, which I don't actually see happening because she's too much of a rebel, I would not be surprised if she works for 2GB or another
2GB?
or another shock jock.
There's no way as long as Ray Hadley is alive, there's no way that Lidia Thorpe will be on 2GB.
I could see her being if John Laws is out of the picture, then their next basically pick will be Lidia Thorpe. I just know it because she does have a very small fan base, but everything that comes out of her mouth is just controversial and shocking.
What about SBS or something?
Yeah. So
Now, gentlemen, next question. Here we go. Since Lidia Thorpe has openly stated and said that she hasn't sworn an allegiance to the king, his heirs, and successors, should Senator Thorpe still be protected by parliamentary privileges?
hell no. If as Leon was saying before, if she doesn't swear the oath properly, okay, she should not have parliamentary privilege. If you want to be a politician and first you need to be elected, obviously, and then you need to swear the oath. If you don't swear the oath, you should not have parliamentary privilege. It's that simple. And Lydia Thorpe has said on many occasions, "Oh, why should I basically swear an allegiance to a colonizer?" On so many occasions, she didn't say heirs, she said hairs. Okay, hairs, right? To the Queen, she'll protect the Queen's hairs, not heirs. So I don't see why Lydia Thorpe should be protected by parliamentary privilege at all, or even have a job as a politician.
I
Your
don't,
thoughts?
I don't know why. To be honest, since A, she didn't swear the oath correctly, she shouldn't be in there to begin with. And since she didn't do it properly, and she's also claiming allegiance to the Queen's hairs, as in her actual hair, which is just Lydia being a smartass, she shouldn't have parliamentary privilege at all. As a matter of fact, she should have been kicked out of Parliament before it even got that far. I don't know why she hasn't. It's not like they it's not like they don't it's not like say the ALP don't necessarily have the numbers to pass legislation through at the moment. They do have the numbers with one or two with three or four senators without Lydia Thorpe. So I don't exactly know why, quite frankly, Lydia Thorpe has only been suspended because she was, for those who don't know, probably would don't not well and truly by now, is Senator Thorpe was suspended from the Senate for the remainder of the week, which unfortunately is probably going to be tonight because all the legislations and stuff like that are being debated in the Senate as we speak. That'll be the last sitting day of the Senate. Quite frankly, she should have been expelled before she came in, and that's driving me insane. I mean, why? I mean, why are we putting up with this? This has been the most absurd Senate I have seen since I started watching politics. I know it's been a robust debates and stuff like that, but never this stupid in the Senate. I've never seen it as bad as it is.
I know this is a bit off track, but I remember when Barack Obama was sworn in as president, and he had to be sworn in again because he didn't get all of the words correct. So even though he said some of the words correct, they refused to inaugurate him until he said every single word correct. Um, so they were really, really strict on that. So us as Australians shouldn't have basically let Lydia Thorpe get away with hairs as opposed to heirs.
Yeah.
We should have made her say every single word correct, or else bar her from Parliament. We should have done that, but for some reason we didn't.
I think on two things there. I I think she, to be honest, I think the most recent bit when she came up and said she was swearing to the Queen's hairs, quote unquote hairs on the head, was just be her just trying to be a smartass. If she'd have done that 2 years ago, we wouldn't have given her the opportunity because she made two errors. Now the same protocol happens in the UK as well when, say, a queen when say if a queen dies, or this is like, and the transfer of power goes to the king, they have to do a set of protocols correctly. Otherwise, this doesn't happen. And as you would have seen with the coronation of King Charles, there was a lot of protocol that had to go through, and they would have been rehearsed for maybe weeks or maybe even months. That all those protocols had to come into effect. So if Lydia Thorpe thinks she's got it bad now, if she thinks she's got it bad at the moment, try being a British monarch.
Hmm. Okay.
I think you guys have made very powerful statements. I don't think I have anything to follow up on that one. I think you're both correct. The only thing I will say is, as you both have said, is that if you don't swear an allegiance to the king, his heirs, and future successors, then what they need to do is sort of
Don't
discuss
take up politics.
not
Yeah.
just don't take up politics, but they should have a formal, what is it? Not referendum, but not election, but inside the parliament said like have a vote of either barring her or maybe finding someone to replace her.
I don't even think they need a um a referendum or anything like that, or even a vote for that matter. If she doesn't swear the oath, put in the person that came second best, and then let that person swear the oath properly. Because
Sorry, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
because that just shows Australia, well, if this person who won the election or won this seat can't say the oath, okay, fine, kick her out, put the person that came second best in, and then let her swear the oath.
I was going to say something along the lines of the exact same thing. If you can't swear the oath, if you can't bring yourself to swear the oath, it shouldn't be up to a vote to remove the member. It should be protocol. If that person does not swear the allegiance correctly, that person is immediately expelled from parliament or any sort of parliamentary job. So, regarding, at least regarding the Senate and also the House of Representatives, but unfortunately, that is not in the Constitution. If it wasn't, I don't think it is in the Constitution. If it was, then we would not be talking about Lidia Thorpe right now.
Well, there is actually something where it says that if the first person,
Oh, yes, there is too. Yes, go on.
cannot, for any reason, take the seat, the person who gets second gets nominated to take that seat. So there actually is something within the Constitution that does allow for that to happen. So, I mean, it would be a bit controversial, I'll give you that. But there is something in the Constitution that does say if the person who gets chosen first is incapable or unable to take his or her seat, then the person that comes second must be promoted as first and will naturally take the seat. And we've actually seen that before. And it's happened before in politics, and a lot of the time it actually does happen all the time through preferential voting. So there is a way of actually getting rid of Lidia Thorpe because she hasn't sworn an oath, and there would have been someone that came second.
In the Constitution, there is a little amendment. That not really an amendment, but there is something in the Constitution. If the member does not swear allegiance or whatever it is correctly or whatever, and is deliberately, trying to dance around it, that person could be jailed. That is in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So why isn't Lidia Thorpe in jail?
Well,
Exactly.
that's a really good.
And this is not me being racist. This is me looking at the Constitution.
Absolutely.
And
that's
Lidia
exactly
Thorpe
right.
has said on many occasions, she has listed the royal family as colonizers and doesn't.
She even swore that. She swore that, and during her swearing in.
Right, and has no interest in serving the king whatsoever. She has a lot of interest in serving Aboriginal people, but does not have any interest in serving
The Australian
king.
public.
Serving the Indigenous people is an admirable thing. Let's not kid ourselves. It's an admirable thing. But however, you are in the Senate and you are in the House of Representatives, and you will conform to those standards and practices. I will not be surprised if the first time back next year, every member will be warned about this. So that way, none of this stupidity happening in the Senate. I think the speakers need to grow some balls and eject members if they're being flat out disrespectful, the same way that Miss Thorpe was, whether or not it's Pauline Hanson being disrespectful, whether or not it's Maureen Faruqi being disrespectful, whether or not it's Lidia Thorpe being disrespectful. All of these people, all of these politicians should be on notice, and it should be put on notice that this kind of carry on, which you don't see these days. The last time I saw any kind of carry on like this, I was in primary school, right? That's how bad this is.
I'd also actually like to mention that Lidia Thorpe is supposed to represent all Australians, not just one particular race, because that is the definition of racism. So it's true. That's why she's been elected, to represent all Australians, not just someone of a particular culture. Or she can't just say, oh, well, I'm not going to represent Chinese Australians because I don't want to. She has to represent all Australians in her electorate. So I mean, that's why I'm saying I think she's actually broken a few constitutional laws already, and if they really wanted to be smart about it, they actually could kick her out now, based off all these constitutional laws that she's already broken.
May I interject?
Yep.
Again, you guys have made some powerful points. Forgive me, I'm just trying to think of it in my head to make sense. I just think the other day or yesterday she was seen on TV and she said, "Oh, I was handed my suspension. I was handed a letter up and suspended." And she went on TV. She went down the middle, and I went, "Oh my god, oh my god!" She just tore a legal letter.
That was being censured. That was on the back of her being censured by
Yeah.
the Senate regarding her actions towards King Charles.
And let's not forget that King Charles, even though I didn't like him years ago, King Charles stopped his cancer treatment to come here to his realm where he's sovereign with his wife and to go to Samoa to see how things are going, to have a bit of a relaxation time and tour around and see things and do things. The man is sick. He's 76 years old.
He was welcomed with open arms, basically, to just about everybody while he was in Australia, except for one person, obviously, Lidia Thorpe,
Yeah,
who
but
thought this would be a good idea to puff out her chest right now and pretend that she's a big shot. No, you're not a big shot. You're not. You're not a big shot. You decided to take advantage of an elderly fella who is not well.
and he's just
Congratulations, you're a real big shot. You're real tough.
like it reminded me of my father because my dad's sick and my dad's older than him by a couple of years. And the man's got cancer like my dad. And it made me feel so angry and so sad thinking he stopped his treatment to come here while having cancer.
The least people can do is show some respect.
Exactly. And the doctors were crazy saying, "Oh, why'd you stop your treatment? You should never stop your treatment." But the thing is, he stopped his treatment so he could come here and go to Samoa afterwards. Like,
and now, unfortunately, Camilla's not well. I've heard, I think there's some news reports going on at the moment that Camilla ain't well either. So it's a double whammy for the Royals.
And I'd also like to mention that King Charles actually paid his respects to
the elders, past and present, and emerging. Yeah, he actually paid his respects.
Right. So it wasn't just.
So I don't know what Lidia Thorpe's got on a high horse for. He showed respect.
And Harry actually apologized, even though he didn't need to. He actually apologized for the genocide that did actually happen in Australia recently. So they actually do pay attention. They do listen to the people. They probably don't have a major role in any litigation or anything like that, but they have apologized and acknowledged that these genocides did actually happen. And Lidia Thorpe is just like, "Oh, you're a colonizer. Okay, fine. Then don't work for them. If that's the case, if you despise them so much,
why didn't you resign
for Parliament?
Why didn't you resign in protest?
Exactly. And the fact that she said, "Oh, I'll do it again and again, and I'll shove it to King Charles's face. I'll go right up to his face and invade his space, and I'll tell him," I'm like, you do.
Go over there to the UK. Do it in front of his face. You won't get past the guards. They'll probably flog the shit out of you before you even get anywhere near him.
He's like, "Oh, he shouldn't be welcome to come back. He should be barred. This is not his country. He's not king. We are the sovereign. This is our sovereignty." it's not his land, it's my land. It's like I think
That's where the racial tones come in, because she thinks that she's playing the race card and yet taking it out on King Charles, the white fella. I hate to say that, and I don't like that terminology. I don't like the term white fella or black fella, but that's playing the race card with racism.
I think if Karl Stefanovic is inviting her and allowing this to happen, I mean, let's not forget, sorry, Karl, I'm not a fan. He's been in trouble before. But if he's allowing, and Channel 9 is openly allowing Senator Thorpe to do and behave like this, sacked a lot of them. Sacked a lot of them and start again. Because it's the only way they're going to shut her up. How much more privilege is she going to get by going on UK BBC TV, on American TV, on New Zealand TV? It's like, well, how much more attention do you want for yourself? Retire, lady, retire. Like, retire and stay off TV and, get the help that you need.
I actually feel like saying to Lydia Thorpe, why don't you actually help real Aboriginal people with real problems that do happen in the community? Oh, can't do that. Can't do not in my electorate. I don't care. It's so preposterous that she keeps going on about, oh yes, the colonizers are screwing over this land, but she doesn't want to basically create programs that helps Indigenous Australians.
You
in other
realize that
electorates.
she played the colonizer card, the fact that she was suspended. She played the colonizer card because she was suspended because of that. No, it's because you acted inappropriately in Senate, you dope.
You want
Stop
to
being a clown.
Exactly.
what annoys me about this is like it's like right, what she thinks is appropriate is being in a protest or something like that. Guess what? Protests don't do anything. They
No.
show awareness.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they
The,
do.
on,
Not
the
too
only
many of them, but there's only a few
really
exceptions.
protests rarely do anything except for saying, "Hey, there's a problem. Please listen to the people." Right? But it's the politicians that need to get their hands dirty and create programs that actually work. Tell me one thing that Lydia Thorpe, like really, has actually done. Okay, apart from saying no to the voice, I don't know what she's done. I really don't.
I don't think there's anything good that she's ever done.
I know she's act like a 16-year-old girl on heroin. That I know she's basically got ties with bikie gangs. But what has she actually done for the Australian people? Because I don't actually know.
I don't think she's done anything. But it's just when you're on all sorts of different news channels around the world, it makes us look, pardon my French, silly. No one wants to come and have to. No one wants to come, live here. No one wants to work in. Tourism is down. Our economy is down because she keeps dragging the same story to different continents, and it makes us look like we're a bunch of terrible people. Like,
I feel that she's brought as far as the international eyes are concerned, I feel that she's taken us back 50 years. I really do. And maybe King Charles could have actually, if it wasn't Lydia Thorpe delivering a subpoena, we could have had a republic. But now that basically she's insulted him whilst having cancer, I think he's just going to go, you know what? I'm not going to waste my energy on this person or the country anymore. Okay. So I feel that she's really to the detriment of Australia. She's done more damage than good, unfortunately.
yeah. She likes to go out and party. She likes to have a few drinks and get drunk. Miss Thorpe needs to. What I wanted to say finally came to me is that we have now been appointed with a new Governor General. Her name is Sam Mostyn. Okay? Sam Mostyn, the Honourable Governor General, needs to speak to Anthony Albanese, or Anthony Albanese needs to speak to her and say, listen, she's a nuisance. She's a headache. The public don't like her. She's an embarrassment to the country. She's mentally unhinged. She needs to be sacked. fired immediately with her superannuation taken away from her, and her salary taken away from her, and her pay packet taken away from her. She needs to be sacked immediately. Now, come on, Gough Whitlam was sacked for less than this shit. Pardon my French. Sam Mostyn needs to stand up now and address this issue and not give her any more warnings. Just tell her you've been fired, sacked, done, pack your bags. Because if she continues like this, Anthony Albanese is just going to say, oh, you know, she's not well and we're trying to get her the help she needs, or she needs
This
to
is
get.
an excuse.
It's
Okay,
just an excuse.
She
You're
can't
rubbing it in our
exact. She
faces.
can't. She can't. She can't. Sam can't do that unless it's advice from Anthony Albanese. Or
That's
I believe there's a couple of triggers. There's a couple of triggers for this. One of them would be the leader of the Senate going to the Prime Minister of Australia and saying this is happening, right? And then I believe it will be both of those guys or both of those explaining to the Governor General this is going on, and I believe that would have the then I believe she would have the power to terminate Senator Lidia Thorpe. I believe I don't know the protocol for that for sure, but if that was me, then if I was the leader of the Senate, I would be letting the prime minister know, look, this is happening. What should I do? Yeah, because she'd be seeking should they be seeking advice from Anthony Albanese, and it's happening too often. I think we need to dismiss this member from the Senate or Parliament, and that's when you need to take it to the Governor General and inform the person that you're going to terminate of their decision, of your decision, and then take it to the Governor General.
but that's where it gets a bit dodgy because, like I said before, it could be an infringement on democracy. So you can't just dismiss someone because you
They're
disagree
being
with their opinion.
disruptive in Parliament or the Senate.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time a politician has been disruptive in Parliament.
This is extreme. This is an extreme case. This is an extreme
Well,
case,
the
and in
thing is,
this
right,
case, there won't be an issue.
Usually when a politician is being disruptive in Parliament, they're just asked to leave. And that's exactly what happens.
But my problem is they'll come back and they'll just keep doing it. In this case, it's Senator Thorpe who did come back into the Senate. Like, even though she was suspended yesterday, she was disrupting the flow of the Senate today by standing at the doors and screaming justice for Palestine through the doors, through the chamber doors.
Yeah.
Then the guys closed up those doors. She went around to the press's doors and started screaming it again.
Yep.
This is pushing your luck right here. That's pushing your luck.
But the thing is, I think Albanese is a little bit afraid because
losing a vote.
If basically Lidia Thorpe is screaming justice for Palestine, and then Albanese gets rid of Lidia Thorpe, then he's lost the Palestinian vote.
He's in minority. Well,
right.
The Palestinian vote, I don't think, to be honest, I don't think it's much of an issue. Despite the fact that Australia just voted for it in the United Nations, I believe that was the case. We just voted to acknowledge Palestine in the United Nations.
Yeah, that's the United Nations, right? We're talking about votes in Australia. The people that support freedom for Palestine, okay, is people in Australia that would support freedom for Palestine. If Albanese gets rid of Lidia Thorpe for yelling freedom of Palestine, then all of a sudden he's lost the Palestinian vote.
Well, it's not that. It's not that. The issue is the disruption in Parliament, and also the fact that she is supposed to be suspended.
I agree, but it's like playing chess, right? So
someone's playing checkers instead.
Well, the thing is, like, I think Albanese's playing it like this, right? He can go, well, I could just basically get rid of her and fire her forcefully, but then all of her fans, all of her followers, probably won't vote me in because they'll see me as
An ogre.
they'll see me as
An
I'm
ogre.
censoring all these people that would follow um Lidia Thorpe, and then Lidia Thorpe would become a martyr to the cause. So it's much easier to allow Lidia Thorpe to shout as loud as she can, and then people will just she'll basically hang herself because everyone will just think she's unhinged, okay, and just not vote her in. It's a lot easier to do that than to just go, look, you're fired, you're totally unhinged, we can't handle this anymore. I don't actually see any Australians legitimately voting her in, and I don't see her winning her seat at all because she's crazy. So let her hang herself rather than get another politician to hang her.
Okay, let's get down to the last questions. Come on. Before it gets any heated. Here we go, gentlemen. The last two. Second last. Leon, is Lydia Thorpe the right person to represent Indigenous elders in Australia?
No, I don't. No, she's not. She's not the right person to represent Indigenous elders. We have seen the way that Lydia Thorpe has acted has been completely contrary to the way Indigenous elders would like to react. So that's why they would look more towards the likes of Warren Mundine and also Jacinta Nabajimba Price. I don't, to be fair, if I haven't pronounced her name correctly, then please forgive me. But those would be the two right leaders to look at to help represent the Indigenous elders of Australia.
I kind of agree. I think
Yeah.
Lydia Thorpe is definitely the wrong person to um, represent Indigenous Australians. I don't know what she's done for Australia. I don't know any bills that she's written. I don't know any programs that she's done. I really don't. All I can just see her doing is she just loves to protest, and that's all she does. Um, and she loves to threaten people as well by shouting at people, "You're marked." So I don't know whose idea it was to give her a subpoena. That was a stupid idea. They should have gotten, someone like, um, Jacinta Price to do it instead, because at least she's stable. Hell, even get Anthony Mundine to do it. That would have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Um, you know, just someone that's not Lydia Thorpe because she's completely crazy.
Absolutely.
Like she's completely crazy.
As I agree with you both, she's not the right person to serve the Indigenous elders and of past, present, emerging. Um, I think if she really, really does care, and I've said this before, and I'm not a racist, I have no racist bone in my body. If Senator, if you really, 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 really care about your cause, why don't you go down and get your hands and feet dirty into the nitty gritty and see what's happening in the Northern Territory? Get your feet on the ground and see what help they need.
Yeah, that seems to be a grey area right now. The Northern Territory. That seems to be a grey area for all politicians at the moment. It shouldn't be. It should be the most pissing obvious place you go look at the moment. We've seen what's real. We have seen what is going on, but nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Anyway, back to you.
And I just think if Lydia Thorpe goes down there, or any politician that goes down there can see, what do they need? School books, extra buses, extra curricular activity, after school activity. What do the students need to learn? Medical, vaccinations, medications, doctors, nurses, surgeons. What do they need? They need more rehab centers, maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to top of my head.
And they could deal with the shopping center.
Yeah, they could do the
How
shopping
about that?
center. Maybe turn it into a holiday destination. I mean, not many people. Not like I have never been to Uluru. I've never been to Northern Territory or Alice Springs. I would like to go someday, but to not just let yourself, but to all politicians, get your hands and feet dirty. This shouldn't be a federal issue. This should be a state or local issue. Senator Thorpe, go down there. If you claim to be that
All that in a bag of chips.
yeah, all that about chips and your convictions, go down there.
Yeah,
Help them.
and you know, it's not just saying, oh yeah, colonizers, because guess what? That solves nothing. Okay, all that does is poke the blame. Actually, have a real plan to fix these problems that you keep complaining about.
And it also
Otherwise,
stokes the
they're just
flame of hate
empty
as well.
words. They are just empty
Yeah.
words.
And to be honest, what has other Commonwealth countries done? Right now, if you look at the statistics of other, and I'm going to go off the rails a little bit. Sorry, forgive me for this. I won't be long. But if you look at the statistics of other Commonwealth countries at the moment, they're actually looking into why should we stay a Commonwealth country if Lidia Thorpe is behaving like a 5-year-old child. It's making them nervous and making them want to go, no, we don't want this. We want our own independence away from Britain. Like, it's making our allies scared to be allies with us. They don't want a Commonwealth. They want a republic because they're scared to be allies of us.
Yeah, I mean, like it's unfortunately it's the Lidia Thorpes in the world that could literally
Destroy.
break alliances really easily. Can you imagine Lidia Thorpe as Prime Minister? Oh my God. Like we'd be at war at no time.
We're already at war, but Senator Thorpe needs to be fired. Done. Anthony Albanese, listen to your people. Listen to your people. Fire her. You know, like, I mean, for goodness sakes, how much more can I be embarrassed? Like,
Yeah, I am also I don't think I there are many politicians I don't like, but I don't think I've been as embarrassed as I am with Lidia Thorpe. I don't think any other politicians there have been politicians that have annoyed me to the point where I've just said like I can't believe you're in our country. But Lidia Thorpe, honestly, Lidia Thorpe is a huge embarrassment to our country. A massive embarrassment to our country.
would you agree, Leon, or would you disagree?
No, I agree. You know, I don't. If Lydia Thorpe was the Prime Minister of Australia, we would be in a lot of trouble right now. And I'm not. And she'd be able to force her agenda, not what's the best interest of Australians, but her own personal agenda. And her personal agenda right now is hate.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that you
She
said
does
it.
peddle a lot of hate speech.
Yeah, a lot of rhetoric, if you don't mind me saying so. All right, Leon's getting tired. Last question. Come on, guys, let's pull through. Last, lucky last. Here we go. Leon.
I'm
Um,
here.
sorry, my own handwriting can't read sometimes. Should I knew we've spoken about this, but here we go. Should our new Governor General Sam Mostyn use her power to sack Lidia Thorpe?
Absolutely. Well, I did touch on this a little while ago as well. I think well, I believe it has to be a joint decision through both parliaments. I think that's the case. I don't know for sure, but it's up to both parliaments to decide whether or not this person here, X person, in this case, Lidia Thorpe, Senator Lidia Thorpe, should be in parliament. It should be. I believe it goes to. A combined vote, and if the majority is a certain position, then the governor general would have no choice but to act in the interest of the parliament.
What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, like the Governor General would need to kind of step in, but the thing is, Lidia Thorpe isn't a Prime Minister, so I mean, it would be harder to sack her. If she was a Prime Minister, it'd be really easy for the Governor General to just sack her, but because she's not, and she's effectively voted in by the people, it's a little bit harder. But then again, she didn't say the oath, like I said, but we touched on before.
Yeah.
And she obviously doesn't like the colonizers, even though they're all dead. And she's already insulted the king. So I reckon there's enough evidence or enough legal framework to get rid of her, to say if they were really smart about it, to go, yeah, your time is up. You haven't sworn the oath. And if they said to Lydia, I tell you what, you can stay on the condition that you swear the oath in front of everyone right now, Lydia Thorpe would just say no.
And do it correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she would just say, no, I'm not doing it, whatever. And the Governor General would be forced to fire her.
Exactly. Anyways, that is it for tonight. Thank you to my men, Buckets and Leon. Thank you for joining us. Sorry Luna couldn't be here. She's sick and back to work, but she'll be with us soon.
Hopefully
Thank you
she's
for
well
joining
soon.
us. Yeah, hope you feel better soon, Luna. And please don't forget to subscribe and like. If you hit that bell, that allows us to get more content out to you that we can provide to you. We're coming up with more topics, with more games nights, more trivia, and we hope you invite your friends to join as well. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving wherever you are in the world. Please stay safe. God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, see you later. Good night.
Bye.